everybody, this is going to be video number 2 in the series on my keto journey. Big news this morning. I got on the scale and I was 151 pounds, which means I have lost a total of 60 pounds doing keto. And I'm so excited about that. I'm 15 pounds away from my goal of 135. So I don't see me stopping this journey anytime soon. I'm gonna try to get the video right this time. The last video had like my chin cut off or something. So, but today, I was gonna talk to you guys about protein. The effects that eating too much protein can have, and then I also was going to talk to you about artificial sweeteners. And again, I've got my notes here below, so if you see me glancing down, that's what I'm doing. So we all know that, like my last video, I talked about keto is very important to follow your macros, your macronutrients, fats, proteins, carbs. There is a set of macros for everybody. Everybody's different. So your macros are not going to be the same as mine. General though, overall, 70, 20, 10. So 70% fats, 20% protein, 10% carbs, or 70, 25, 5. So 70% fats, 25 proteins, 5% carbs. You can enter those percentages in on like MyFitnessPal, the free download. I do have the premium. I actually won it in a contest like a year's worth, which I was excited about. But if you do have the premium, I think it's like $9.99 a month or $49.99 for the entire year. You can adjust your macros to whatever you want them to be. It'll let you put in the actual number instead of rolling to get the percentages, which I like a lot. But you could totally make it work on the free. Just get as close as possible as you can to the percentages that when you get on to do like a keto calculator on rule.me, or there's like several others out there to figure up your macros. And if anybody needs any help getting the macros, please feel free to message me. I don't care at all to help anybody get them. So the reason why that protein is so important not to go over, you can go over 5 to 10 grams, but it's best not to go over that, especially if you're following keto. Now, low carb is a different story, but I'm doing keto, so this is what this is about. It's very important not to go over protein. Your body prefers glucose. So, and that was my 3-year-old, you guys. I told you all before, I've got 4 kids, so you never know what's going to happen in this house. Anyways, so your body prefers glucose for energy. That is what we have been trained to do all of these years, is to eat a lower fat diet and higher protein and moderate carbs, because your body wants to burn those carbs when you work out for energy, right? Your body prefers to burn glucose for energy, or sugar, okay? When we do a keto and we cut down those carbs a whole lot, we are training our body to burn fat for energy instead of glucose. Burning fat and ketones is so much healthier for your body and for your brain than burning protein and carbs. Now, I'm not knocking anybody else's diet, because everybody's different and everybody has what works for them, and that's awesome. But for me, I've never found a diet that works the way that keto works, and I've never been able to lose weight without exercising like I have with keto. But I've been following my macros. Now, if you go over your proteins, and your proteins are more than your fats, even is worse, because your body will convert protein into glucose. And that sounds crazy, I know, but that's what our bodies do. We prefer to burn glucose for energy. So when you take in too much protein, your body's going to take that protein, convert it into glucose, and then store your fat. So if you're eating high fats, which you should be on keto, and then you eat high protein too, your body's going to store the fat, and you're going to burn protein in the form of glucose instead of fat. You don't want to do that. So I tell people to make sure that you're following your macros. Make sure that your fat is more than your protein. I've got other people that will tell you, after I've looked at their diet and looked at their charts and stuff, they were just taking in too much protein and they would stall or they would even gain. But as soon as we got those macros figured out for them and they learned how to really track them and stay below their protein or right at their protein, the weight started coming off. Which this diet is more about health than it is weight for a lot of people, because keto has been proven to help reverse the effects of diabetes type 2. It's been helped to improve diabetes type 1. There's so many things that keto has done for people. In children, doctors would put children on keto to reduce their seizures, kids with epilepsy, and it would work. And they don't know why it works, but it works. So it is healthy for us. And I was going to touch on the higher fats also, because I know we are trained to not take in so much fat. So what happens when we switch to a keto diet and all of a sudden we're taking in all these high amounts of fats, and we've dropped our carbs and our sugars way low, and our protein's right in that medium area where it needs to be? Well, our body starts to burn that fat that we're eating for energy. So when we consume the fat, it doesn't have time to sit around in our arteries. It doesn't have time to turn into something bad, because we take it in and bam, it's used for energy. And that's what's so awesome. Also, with the lowering the carbs and the sugar, insulin is what causes your arteries to be sticky. So when you have all this insulin and then you have a higher fat, or you're not kind of watching your diet or whatever, your insulin's a little bit higher because you're eating all these sugary, carby things, the walls of our arteries get sticky. And so the stickiness of the arteries grab onto that fat, and then that's what causes the buildup and then the heart problems and all that kind of thing. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not giving medical advice to anybody. I am not doing that. I'm just going to put that out there. I do have a medical background in nursing. I will say that, so I'm a little knowledgeable about health things, but unlike a lot of you all, keto was extremely new to me, because working with doctors, it was always low fat. So you do low fat, low fat, low fat. And this is the reverse of what we've been taught. So you take those higher fats in and they don't have time to sit around and be something bad. You use them for energy. You also keep your proteins down, so that way your body doesn't turn those into glucose, release insulin, and then you're storing the fat, and the fat sticking to your arteries. If that makes sense to anybody, I hope it does. I just want to get through to you all. If you're doing keto, it is extremely important to follow your macros. Follow them. Get the high fats, get the moderate protein, get the low carbs. I think right now my fats are 96 grams, my proteins are somewhere around 74, and then, or maybe 64 grams, and my carbs are 20. And some people will do 20 net carbs, which is where you subtract your fiber from your carb count. I do total count, so I don't subtract anything from my carbs. So I do 20 net, or 20 total carbs. Okay, so let's move to artificial sweeteners. Now, there are different opinions out there floating around on, are they good, are they bad? I heard one person say that if you put anything sweet in your mouth, your body releases the insulin getting ready for that sweetness. And there's a level of truth to that, but it doesn't release enough that would harm you. And I'll go over the artificial sweeteners that's okay to have in just a second. It doesn't release enough to harm you, really. It is a response that our body has, though, because our taste bud picks up all these different things. And then when your taste buds senses that you're having something sweet, your body is like, okay, they're ingesting sugar, so we need to release some insulin to counteract that sugar. It may release a little bit, but it's not going to affect you. So it may release a little bit, but it's not going to affect you enough if you're eating the right kinds of artificial sweeteners. Now, that's a weird statement to make. So the artificial sweeteners that are okay are erythritol, things made with xylitol, stevia, monk fruit is a good one. Those kind of things that you can use to sweeten. Like I use I use some xylitol in the mornings to sweeten my Bulletproof coffee, and I'll talk about Bulletproof coffee in the next video, so you guys make sure you subscribe. But I use the xylitol in the morning in my coffee, and the artificial sweeteners that are not so good for you would be anything that ends with lose, like sucralose, things like that. Splenda, Splenda I have used before. It will make you stall. Everybody's different. I can say it will, it may not you, but for most people it can stall. And so if you're using those kind of things, if you're using Splenda or Equal, I can't remember the other one. There's a blue pack and a pink pack and a yellow pack. But if you're using those kind of things, it can stall you, and that's the least thing that you want to happen. Is like you're drinking your coffee in the morning, doing everything perfectly, your macros are on point, but you're using this bad artificial sweetener every single day, and it's causing you to stall. So switch to xylitol, erythritol, switch to monk fruit. They have all that stuff in the Walmart. I use the Skinny Girl liquid sweetener, and it's made with xylitol, and you just squirt a little bit in there and it's perfect. So that would be my suggestion for artificial sweeteners. If this video seems like it's kind of chopped up a little bit, I have received so many phone calls while I was trying to make this video, and it just dawned on me like this time to turn my airplane mode on so that I can't get phone calls or text messages. So that's what I did. So I apologize for that, and I'm new to YouTube. I'm new to putting all these videos together. I'm new to all this, so you guys bear with me. I'm hoping that my 14-year-old can teach me some things. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Bulletproof coffee while we're here, because I think that'll be pretty fast and I don't really need to make a whole nother video on it. Bulletproof coffee is butter coffee basically. You don't have to buy anything special for it. If you're using butter, I would tell you to not use margarine. Get a real butter. Kerrygold butter is the best in my opinion. That's what we use at my house. So in the morning or in the evening, really anytime when you need to up in fats, you can fix you some 8 ounces of coffee, and I use decaf because I'm really sensitive to caffeine, so it is okay to use decaffeinated coffee. And some people would be like, why do you even drink that? I like the taste of it. I don't have to have caffeine. I stay away from that. I just like the taste of it. So I do 8 ounces of decaf, and then I add 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. A lot of people will only add 1. It just depends on where your macros are, if you've got room for the extra calories and the extra little bit of fat of the heavy whipping cream, or the extra carb, because there is 1 carb per tablespoon in the heavy whipping cream. There's 0 in coffee. I put 2 tablespoons. I like mine on the milky side. And I do 1 tablespoon of Kerrygold butter, and then I will do either 1 tablespoon or half a tablespoon of coconut oil. You want to get like the unrefined good coconut oil, and put that in your coffee and blend it up. You can put it in a blender and it gets good and frothy on top and yummy. I have one of those little immersion blender things, and that works perfect for me. I got it for like $7 off of Amazon. It was cheap and it works perfectly. But I blend those up, and that's how I have my coffee in the morning, and it gives me a good dose of fats with the coconut oil and the butter and the heavy whipping cream. And then I will put in 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of the Torani sugar-free flavored syrup. So right now I'm using the Torani Classic Caramel sugar-free syrup, and those are found in the coffee aisle too, so they're easy. I think they're $3 and something. But they have not stalled me. I've not had a problem with them, and I need flavoring in my coffee. I am one of those people, I can go to Starbucks and I order the Frappuccino, and I'm like, make sure you put extra like sweetener, extra chocolate, extra, just to... So I like the taste of coffee, but a little bit, I guess. I guess that's the right way to explain it, because I drown it out with all my heavy cream and my classic caramel and all that kind of stuff. But it's good. It's good, and it gives you your fats, and it keeps me full until lunch. And a lot of times I'll just do that in the morning for breakfast, and then I won't eat again until about 12. I said before, I do have like a medical background, but after I stayed home over the summer, I decided that I wanted to pursue my passion of doing hair. So I went to cosmetology school, and I'm currently still in there. So having that, and sometimes we have clients come in, and sometimes we have to work through our lunch, and we can't eat until maybe 2:30, 3, depending on what we're doing. But with my Bulletproof coffee, I don't really even get hungry until like 4 or 4:30. When I do get lunch on time at school, I'll make myself eat a little something, just because I know I need calories. Like I can't go on 400 to 500 calories. If I do that and I stop eating at my time, then I feel bad. So I will try to get lunch in at least, and I will eat at 2 or 2:30 just to get something in to get my calories up. So if you don't like coffee, if you don't like the flavor of coffee, but you want to try a butter something or a Bulletproof something, you can do hot chocolate. There's recipes on Pinterest for a Bulletproof hot chocolate. You basically would use almond milk. You could use cocoa powder. You still use your butter, coconut oil, heavy whipping cream, just to add it a little bit more milky richness, and then sweeten it with your favorite sweetener. You could do the xylitol. You could do the Torani flavored syrups. Actually, that would probably be really good with the caramel and hot chocolate. I just thought about that. But you can get your Bulletproof in through hot chocolate. I have a friend that hates coffee, but she can do the Bulletproof hot chocolates, and you have to make sure you track though, because the cocoa powder has got some carbs in it. It's not a whole lot, but it's more than just regular coffee. And the almond milk, I think, has got 1 for 8 ounces or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But that would be your Bulletproof. That would get your fats in the morning. It's a meal replacement basically, with all the heavy whipping cream, coconut oil, and butter. My coffees are around 300 to 330 calories, which is the same thing as like bacon and eggs in the morning. So I let that replace my meal, and sometimes I do it in the evening if I really just am not hungry, I don't feel like cooking anything, or if I'm super tired, and or if I need a boost in fats, then I'll make a Bulletproof coffee and do that for dinner. Like I said, today I did hit 60 pounds being lost doing the keto lifestyle, and I'm not perfect at the video making, and I'm not perfect at talking, and I'm getting used to talking to the phone by myself like a crazy person, but I'm getting there, and I just wanted to make these videos to help other people. I get messages every day, all day long, about, can you help me with this? Can you figure my macros? Can you point me in the direction? Can you show me what food I can use to replace this? Or I'm craving sweets, what do I do? And I love to help people. So if you guys like these videos, and if you are ready for the next series, you have any suggestions on anything that you want me to do in coming up videos, please leave a comment below. I mean, I'd love to hear them, and I'd love to do some research, and if I don't know it, I want to find it out for you. So please like and subscribe to the channel. Help me get the word out. This has changed my life. It just changed my husband's life. He's lost 86 pounds this year. Well, not this year, it's 2018, but this past year. And I just want to help others. So if you guys will, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave comments below any questions, if you need help with your macros, if you have video topics you'd like to be discussed, and I will reply to you all. So you all have a great day.